In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
Hey there everyone, NoDM the Boy here, coming at you with another deck profile on the Rebel Ranger Slayer for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Also, happy Halloween. This will be the first official deck profile out, even though it's not the first one I made. This wasn't originally going to be the first one, but whatever. All good. So we're doing Rebel Ranger Slayer. I've been calling her Pink Ranger Slayer, so I'm trying to catch myself because I keep trying to say Pink Ranger Slayer, which is not technically wrong. Because that's her evil self, but like her good self, redemption self, is Rebel Ranger Slayer. But for context, Kimberly from the Shattered Grid timeline was brainwashed by Lord Draken to become the Pink Ranger Slayer, to fight alongside him, like as a servant. So after she broke free, she went through a redemption thing and became the Rebel Ranger Slayer to make up for what she did. Brainwashed. But yeah, I really like her kit. I played this for episode 23, Halloween HAVOC. So that episode won't come out until 2025 because it's part of season 2. But I did want to talk about it a bit because it is Halloween and it's within the spirit, and I do want to talk about the deck as well. So I played as Kimberly, who was being Buffy for the official Halloween HAVOC scenario. So it fits with, like, she is the Slayer, you know, like, she's not Buffy though, ironically. She's more like a Faith type Slayer character. Evil, but then turn good, redemption. So that's her story. It's really good. I haven't fully read the comics, so I'm not trying to fully, like, talk about it. And spoilers also, anyway. So yeah, we can talk about our kit. So every Ranger deck is 20 shield and 10 cards. So let's see. Let's talk about my favorite one first. Veteran Instincts. This card is like really good maneuver. So it's a 0 cost energy. You gain 1 energy when you use it, and then you may draw up to 2 cards. And you may immediately play another card. So usually I just play this, and then I go into this to gain 2 energy off 2 cards, and then stack it, and then play like a Terra Kick. And if I don't beat it, it goes back to my hand. Like, this card can bounce back in hand. We'll talk about that in a sec. So it's a good combo, like chain. Like, you can play 3 cards at once, get and draw cards to maximize on her like continuous attack ranges. But yeah, she's really killer. She's basically like an assassin-like character. She just tries to kill the enemy as soon as possible. So her finishing shot, I forgot to talk about her leader ability. After the last enemy card in the combat sequence resolves, deal 1 damage to an enemy card of my choice. So she is really good if you're like 1 off. Sometimes you're like, oh dang, we're 1 off from killing the guy, but then when the battle's officially like over, she gets 1 last hit in. So this actually happened. We actually done this a couple times in the Halloween HAVOC session, where it'd be like 1 off and then we didn't kill it, but then we're like, oh yeah, her effect, boom, she's dead. It's dead now. It's really cool. I also like her figure. But like, this was a really cool Ranger to play as. I was comboing off of it with Scorching Shot as well reaction. So I talk about this. And then Scorching Shot reaction is play this card after an enemy card resolves to roll 2 dice and deal that much damage to that enemy card. So this is a good response to fast cards that deal damage. So we can hit them back pretty hard. So me and Zeo, Gold Ranger, Uncle Sanguine, Alex was we were doing a lot of reactionary stuff. It was really fun, like being able to combo off like that. I kind of skipped over Terra Kick. So Terra Kick's really good. It's a 2 dice attack. It's 0 cost energy, so a lot of this stuff's very cheap, all these zeros. So after you resolve this attack, if the target was not defeated, return this card to your hand instead of discarding it. So I like it because it just goes back to your hand. You can reuse it, especially if it's like an early game swing. So it's a good like opening move, knowing it comes back to your hand, and you can try to finish off with something else. Like, it's good to keep that card in resolve. I like reserve. We'll go in order. So Piercing Shot. There's no 2 costs in this deck, I realize. Oh, that's interesting. So the Piercing Shot is a 3 dice attack. It's a 1 cost energy. If this attack defeats the target, so if it does beat the enemy, deal any remaining damage from this attack to an enemy card adjacent. So it just hits the next dude, basically. Like, boom, boom, then leftover damage. It's really cool. This didn't come up as much. It did come up a few times, but I was mostly in it for this 0 cost stack. This 0 cost stack is a really good, like, strong kit. This card's good too. It's a solid card. Just didn't really come up. And then we'll talk about Bowl of Darkness. So Bowl of Darkness is a 3-cost energy attack. It guarantees 3 damage. Oh no, it guarantees 5 damage. Oh wow, that's really good. So this card's really good. And ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack, so it can ignore guard. So this card can bypass guard and basically guarantee kill a foot soldier or somebody. Or an annoying foot soldier. This can get rid of an annoying foot soldier. Can get rid of an annoying like passive. It can bypass guard, which is really good, and then guarantee 5. So like it's a really good kill shot card. Like guarantee like this thing's gonna die. Like what do we want really badly gone? Like that's worth 3 energy. Usually passives. They're like pay an extra energy when you're doing things like when you target this and stuff like that. You know, like that's really annoying. And then X Blaster, it's the final card. We've talked about this card a few times in a couple of deck profiles, I think, or we will. But this card's really good. So Blade Blaster is an attack special. This attack deals an amount of damage equal to the amount of energy spent to play this card. Then you may divide this damage among any number of targets. So X Blaster is like a really good like AoE like board wipe card, because like say you spend 5 energy for this card, then you can deal 5 damage to anything and you can spread it among the board. So it's really good to like clear out, like guarantee like let's kill everything else. Like if we get enough energy too in the pool. Like I already hit a record for our group, like this card and this card. So arsenal cards are extra cards you can get in the game. It's a part of a mechanic. It's a new mechanic. So if we draw this from the arsenal deck and get it, we can use it. So I got this during the Halloween HAVOC session and use it to wipe out the rest of the pumpkin wrappers like cards like all at once. Use when any ranger plays an attack card. So I played an attack card. Add 1 die to that attack for each energy spent to play that card. So so if I spend like 5, I spent 10, right? So I spent 10 energy. So that means I can roll 10 dice because I spent 10 energy to use this card. It's crazy because then we rolled 10 and then I rolled 7. So the highest amount of damage we ever did in a session is 17 right now. That's the high score. Gosh, that's crazy. Very crazy. But X Blaster can get crazy. Grave Zord. So this is her Zord that you use in the session. So this is where these Zords will come in because Sea Dog Corey and Gold Ranger Alex and Uncle Sanguine, you know, use these Zords for their Rangers. And then the Grave Zord allows you to exhaust this card to use the ability of another Zord that has been summoned. So basically you just turn it sideways or flip it over and then you can use a Zord that another Ranger has. So specifically with Rebel Ranger Slayer, she can be kind of a copycat with the Zords because she can copy. You get basically 2 of the same Zord in a session, basically, when you use her. So Triceratops, I use this to save myself. So I use the exhaust ability to choose up to 2 cards from to allow any Ranger to choose up to 2 cards from their discard pile and return them to the top of their deck in any order. So that's what Triceratops does with Mighty Morphin Blue. So then I use that to save myself against an enemy because I only had 1 card left from drawing. Oh, that's the downside of using Veteran's Instincts. Drawing up to 2 cards, like you lower your deck count, which is really bad because it's your life. So you can exhaust this to get 2 cards back to the top of the deck. And I did that to save myself because I was really low on deck. So that was really convenient. And Sea Dog always plays Billy, so it's really nice to know that the Triceratops will be active like 99% of the time unless we do like a theme session or something. Most of the time it's just gonna play Billy, so it's nice to know like this Triceratops will come up in the future. And then Pyramidas I use to help Uncle Sanguine with so you use this card, exhaust this card when any Ranger reveals a card for defense, add 1 shield to that card, gain 1 energy, and deal 1 damage to an enemy card of your choice. So if I do it with him, comboing, so I mimic it, so it's basically adding 2 shield to that card, gain 2 energy, and deal 2 damage. So it's like doubling the effect because I have to use it in response. So that's what I meant earlier when I said we were like doing like reaction like craziness, because our reactions were going way off. Like even Agent Stan was just all like, did anyone even actually go yet? And I'm like, nope, this is all like reactionary. We didn't take our turns yet. It's wild. But yeah, those are the 2 Zords I used. Agent Stan's Zords didn't come up because his like swap out a lot, and yeah, It's just mostly because they swapped, and I couldn't really use them because they swap every time. But yeah, these two, really good. Came up, I think I used them like twice each. At least twice each. The most was Pure Midas. I was really helping with the comboing. But overall, I really enjoyed playing Rebel Ranger Slayer. Halloween Havoc was a lot of fun overall too. I'll probably talk about that at some point for content in 2025. Like talk about the Halloween Havoc scenario. Like I really did like doing that. I thought it was really, really fun. Like doing a themed scenario session like that. And I like doing the flavor where I just pretended that Kimberly went as Buffy or like probably Buffy just to be, you know, easy for a Halloween party, and then Jordan called her in, so she was basically the Ranger Slayer because she was in her Buffy costume, which is like, you know, kind of realistic. Even though her character, like I said earlier, the Rebel Ranger Slayer is basically more like a Faith character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but actually to compare, because both were evil and then they were good. And then now, you know, they are on the redemption path, so. Slayers. I love Buffy, so just being able to even, like, remotely mention Buffy is nice. Kimberly would go as Buffy for Halloween. She would. But, thank you all so much for watching my deck profile. I really enjoyed playing, Rebel Ranger Slayer. I really recommend it. I'd probably make her, like, an A tier. If we do S, then I guess I'd low-key make her an S tier Ranger. I think she's overall solid. She's a good assassin type character. She can help mimic a Zord. Her last shot effect is really good. It's the opposite of her original Mighty Morphin Pink. At the start of battle, do 1 damage, so this one's at the end, so it's the opposite, which is really cool. So she's more of an assassin, like, ranger. And I dig it. I'd probably play her again, honestly, like, soon. I really enjoyed playing, Ranger Slayer. So, yeah. Thank you all again. Happy Halloween. I'll see you all for the next deck profile, alright? No DMAA is logging off.